Hey everybody, this is Tanner Steed and I'm here with Emily Olson. We're painting outdoors in Boulder, Colorado. Emily is an incredible watercolor artist and I can't wait to see her process. It's gonna be exceptional. She's amazing and you should definitely go check out her YouTube channel.
Oh, this is my Schminke set. Yeah, it's
magnetic, yeah. Do you start out with a underdrawing or do you go straight in with paint? So I'm doing a pre-mixture of the gradient in the sky. To work efficiently, I'm trying to go back to front. So I'm worried about the things that are furthest away, which is the sky. A general rule of thumb is things in natural sunlight tend to be cooler as they recede into the distance and warmer towards the foreground. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that all of these colors back here in the distance in the atmosphere are cooler and less saturated than everything that's going to come forward. If you do that, it will create a sense of atmosphere as well as just make it feel more real. Now I'm doing some pre-mixtures for the foreground and some of these rocks. When I squint down, I'm going to be able to see the values more accurately. But I'm not only worried about what the values are, but I'm also thinking about the temperature. So the light source is warm, so the rocks in the light are going to be warmer than the shadows, which are going to be cool. And it's all relative, so you don't have to go to the extremes and think orange and blue. It's more subtle than that, more nuanced. So the base for most of these mixtures is burnt sienna, raw umber, titanium white, and a little bit of my King's Blue for these mixtures. And then I'm getting a touch of sap green because I'm seeing some lichen on some of those rocks. So I'm pulling in just a touch of green. Now I'm not going to the extremes, I'm just gonna slowly build up and make my way there. I'm starting with my shadows. Starting with my darks because I'm then going to compare my values based on those dark notes. When you just have the white of the canvas, it's a bit difficult to read whether or not your shadows are dark enough. I'm thinking in terms of planes, like a cube. I know that the sky is exposed, or the tops of the rocks are exposed to the sky more than the sides. Therefore, they're going to be reflecting more of that cool light. Alright, so I just did a nice warm orange, yellow, pink wash. What this is going to do is act as kind of an undertone. So all the details that are happening on top of it are going to be warmer just naturally because this whole large shape is filled with a warm tone, and therefore anything on top of it is going to have that tone underneath. If I were to put two brush strokes next to each other, it would reveal the warm tone underneath giving this whole region a warmer feel than maybe the back. That's really good.
It would happen, but thank you.
Gorgeous. Oh, that's gorgeous. Nice gradient in the sky too. Yeah. Yeah, I love your color choices in the rocks. I like how soft this tree is too. That's nice. Very well done.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, awesome. Looks so good.
I do like a pretty thin wash initially, and after I let it dry a little bit, I'll dry brush some detail on top. Yay! You can't have light without shadow, so that rock doesn't look like it's in the light, but when I put a dark note next to it, it's going to look much brighter.
Tanner's painting with oil. He's a fellow art instructor and YouTuber, so go check out his channel right now. So what made you choose this spot? What spoke to you?
Initially, it was the gradient in the sky. I thought, oh my gosh, I just have to mix that gradient. For some reason, it just seemed so obvious and so nice that I needed to have that in the painting.
Sorry,
yeah.
The artist is the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little biased.
Yeah. My all-time favorite artist, contemporary, is Daniel Sprick. Daniel Sprick is, I mean, I don't want to use the God word, but he is painting on another level entirely. I've studied his paintings, you know, just online and going to different museums, and I've done master copies of his paintings. It wasn't until recently that I decided to reach out, and he, after a few email exchanges, he was like, fine, you can come to the studio, and he was like, oh geez, who's this guy with dreadlocks? And all right, we gotta lose the horizon line. Now the paint is not wet, so it's a dry brush, but it's still possible. As long as I get the value, it should be lost. I don't want you to be able to see exactly where the horizon is. So when you're painting trees, they can be extremely intricate. So it's really important to squint down and make sure that you are simplifying the value shapes that you're seeing out there. Breaking it down into kind of a fundamental form, like thinking of it as a sphere or a cube, can really help in terms of your lighting dynamic. So the light is coming from the right-hand side and out in front. It's kind of backlit. So the front face is on the other side of this pine tree. So all of that is going to be much lighter than the left-hand side, which is going to be darker right over here. I'm always asking myself, where is the light least likely to go? So it's least likely to be able to hit the innermost branches down in the center of the tree. So I'm gonna put my dark accent in there. And thinking of this as a sphere, it's going to be lighter on the right and gradate towards darker greens on the left-hand side. So generally when I'm starting out, the paint is very, very thin. It doesn't have a lot of physical texture. Towards the end of the painting, I'll think about those certain areas that require a bit more of a highlight. If you were to paint a flat color with just the color, it's going to read as just the value innate in that color mixture. But if you were to take that same mixture and put a thick brushstroke on and then have light reflecting off of it, off of the physical texture of the paint, it's going to be perceived as brighter and more exaggerated than just that simple soft brushstroke. So when you're painting sky holes or the holes in between branches or leaves in a tree, make sure that you're following the gradient of the sky. So if it's going from dark to light, make sure you know what's right next to it and where along that gradient those sky holes are. So whenever I'm making one of these marks with the sky coming through the leaves and the foliage, I'm aware of exactly where it is along this gradient from dark to light. If you misplace a brush stroke, it's not going to read as a sky hole. All right, looks like I'm finished here today. Have a fabulous time painting outdoors yourself. I'm gonna go check in with Emily and see what she's working on. She's on to her second painting of the day.